The more you try to be liked, the less people will actually like you. The more you seek validation and approval, the less you get it. Weird question, but do you ever feel like something is off? Like deep down you know that you are meant to be more bold, more expressive, but some part of you keeps playing small. Let me tell you one hard truth. Confidence isn't something you get, it's something you remember. And that thing people call charisma, well, it's not something you perform. It's something you radiate when you finally stop bullshitting yourself. Sounds confusing? Well, let me explain. We live in a world addicted to pretending. And let's face it, when you scroll through social media for just 2 minutes, you see highlight reels, over-edited authenticity, people trying to desperately prove that they are confident and successful and rich. And meanwhile, in the default reality, outside of social media, most people are walking around like zombies, terrified of saying the wrong thing. Or worse, being the wrong thing. And why is that? Well, because somewhere along the way we were taught, be nice. Do everything you can to fit in. Don't rock the boat. Don't think for yourself. Follow that bullshit predictable life path. And by the way, I've been there too. Growing up in post-communist Poland, I was being told not to follow my intuition, to forget about my dreams and simply follow the script. But here's the confidence paradox. The more you try to be liked, the less people will actually like you. The more you seek validation and approval, the less you get it, because it's kind of like a dog chasing its own tail. Also, the more you try to be liked, the less people will feel your true presence. And presence? Well, that's real confidence. Not volume, not some fake bravado, but stillness, certainty, a grounded energy, a grounded nervous system that says, I know who I am and I own it. I know what I want and I'm not shrinking just to please someone else. Confidence is not just about feeling. It's a result. It's really a byproduct of repetition, of powerful identity and internal congruence. In fact, real self-confidence is tightly linked to self-concept clarity, which is essentially your ability to know and hold who you truly are, especially under pressure. True confidence doesn't come from hyping yourself up, but it comes from being done performing and owning who you are. Look, I used to be terrified of public speaking. For years, I avoided putting myself out there because I was scared of what people would think. I was afraid that I simply wouldn't live up to some external expectations. And eventually I realized that all of this was bullshit. People are too busy thinking about themselves to be judging you. By the way, the same thing goes for my friends who are now ultra successful business owners, athletes, speakers, creators, all types of adventurers. So many of them used to feel that same fear, right? The fear of not being good enough, the fear of judgment, the fear of, what if I ruffle any feathers? But clearly, confidence is not about having some natural gift, right? Confidence is a skill that you can develop. Confidence is about unlearning all that shit that you were taught. All those bullshit rules, like don't be too much, stay in your lane, shrink yourself so others feel safe. Confidence is arrogance, right? Don't make people uncomfortable. Don't stand out. Don't think for yourself. Instead, follow the society. Rich people are evil, right? Sadly, so many of us internalized those limiting beliefs, and guess what? Now they are running the show. And the craziest part is that most of those beliefs were not even yours to begin with. They were downloaded into you by scared teachers, by burned-out parents, by insecure authority figures, and a society that, let's face it, profits from your self-doubts, profits from your anxiety and your fear. You didn't choose to play small. You were conditioned to it. You were rewarded for staying quiet. You were praised for blending in, right? And every time you started to show real fire, someone told you, hey, listen, relax, be realistic. Don't make others feel uncomfortable. So over time, you build this mask, this overly polite and cautious version of yourself. That's not even real. And let's face it, you probably have those times when that raw, powerful side of you is trying to break through. But then you second guess it and you go back to what feels safe, to that default mechanism. But let me tell you something. The version of you that people would actually appreciate and respect, the version that would shake things up, well, that version cannot play by those bullshit rules. Confidence doesn't come from perfection, okay? It comes from permission, but a kind of permission that you give to yourself. The permission to own exactly who you are. Even when it's raw, even when it's unpolished or inconvenient to other people. Permission to take up space without needing some bullshit approval. Permission to speak your truth, even if your voice shakes a little bit. Because that's where the real confidence lives. Not in being flawless. No, it doesn't work like that. But in being unapologetically yourself. And by the way, if you resonate with what I'm saying now, make sure to hit subscribe because I drop content like this a couple of times every month to help you remember who you truly are and show up like a winner to live with confidence. All right, so let's shift gears for a little bit. Because once you stop chasing confidence and start embodying it, embodying clarity of who you are, that's when charisma kicks in. You see, charisma isn't about slick lines. It's not about being the loudest person in the room. It's not, being some alpha chest puffer. It's about what happens when your internal and external are aligned. Okay? When your tone, your posture, your facial expressions, when your energy, when all of this matches what you truly believe in and what you feel. It's congruency. Look, Harvard did a lot of research and they found that this internal congruence is the single biggest predictor of your perceived charisma. Why? Because congruence is going to make people trust you. And by the way, it gets pretty wild because thanks to your mirror neurons, when you show up fully grounded and clear, the people around you will start syncing to that signal that you are giving out, right? So when you feel calm, other people feel calm, right? When you have certainty, well, other people feel that certainty. When you feel confident and positive, other people around you feel the same way. So instead of forcing influence and desperately trying to be charismatic, what you want to do is you want to transmit it naturally by feeling in a certain way. And by the way, this is why I always tell people that if you want to become a captivating public speaker, you have to feel the way you want your audience to feel. When you share a story, you want to be deeply embedded in that story, right? And the way you want to project yourself is with full congruence, full alignment, right? Now, when you get on a stage and you feel extremely confident, you feel comfortable, you know you are on a mission, you know that you are about to change those people's lives, they can sense it. And something amazing happens, right? And people just follow you. You get standing ovation and people just want to keep listening to you. But you want to cultivate this in your day-to-day life, right? And by the way, this is why when someone walks into a room with real presence, the whole vibe shifts. Everything changes. People suddenly pause, right? They lean in and they want to listen, right? People notice, wow, someone just walked in and that person has real presence. And it's not because that person is the loudest, but because they are the clearest. They have the most presence. They have a real authentic vibe about them. Now that's your job now. So it's not about dominating, but it's about embodying. Now, most people walk into a room trying to adjust to the vibe. They want to fill someone else's frame. But I want you to stop scanning the room and trying to shrink or to perform in a fake way. Start walking into the room as if the room belongs to you, right? As if you own the damn room. And listen, it doesn't mean that you have to be cocky, that you think that you are the best. It's not about being arrogant. It's about being congruent. It's about owning who you are, being unapologetically yourself, with all your flaws, right? Understanding that you are not perfect, no one is, but you own yourself fully with all of your imperfections. Look, people can feel when your words, your tone, your energy, when all of those things match. And they can also sense when you are out of sync. And that's why you don't need to say a word to be charismatic. You just have to be congruent. Okay, so let me share with you some neuroscience here. Studies on mirror neurons show that when you are grounded, when you're calm, when you're certain, people around you subconsciously will mirror that. They literally feel more regulated, more focused, more present, more grounded, more positive, right? And it's because of your nervous system. It sounds crazy, but that's how it works. And this is why, by the way, it's very interesting when you see a mom or a dad with a kid. When a kid falls down and starts bleeding, when parents start panicking, the kid will start panicking. But when you see parents reacting as if it's not a big deal, usually kids follow that behavior. It's fascinating, right? And that is power. Okay, so you may be thinking, Jimmy, makes sense, but what do I actually do with all of this? Well, here's your mission, okay? Stop constantly asking, how do I become more confident? And start asking yourself what truth I've been afraid to own, okay? This is really powerful because we all have shadow, and I'm gonna make a separate video talking about shadow work. But a lot of the times we don't fully own who we are. And we feel like we have to pretend. And when you pretend, well, it's virtually impossible to be truly confident and comfortable in your skin. Now, also pick one situation this week, just one, okay? Not two, not five, just one, but actually do it, where you usually shrink, right? And I want you to show up differently in that situation. Show up more grounded, more honest, more vulnerable. Don't edit yourself. And really think about it because this can change everything and it's gonna be uncomfortable. But when you do it, it's gonna make a massive difference. Now, also when you feel nervous, rather than just fighting it, breathe into it, okay? Use it as a fuel. Because nervous energy and excitement, well, they're pretty much the same, right? The difference is that when you are really nervous, when you are anxious, you anticipate a negative outcome. But when you're excited, you assume that everything is gonna go well. So rather than fighting that energy and pretending, I'm not nervous, I'm not fearful, right? And trying to kind of fake it, acknowledge, well, I feel the way I feel because I'm just a human being. The interesting thing I've noticed over the years is that when you don't fight certain feelings and emotions, you deprive them of their power. And then vice versa, when you fight them a bit too much, they keep growing. It's kind of like with martial arts. If you want to push someone and they want to push you back, you clash energies. But on the other hand, when someone wants to push you, you want to use their energy by pulling them. Right? So that's what you want to do with your fears and all types of different emotions. Look, confidence isn't built in the future. It's built right here and now, in those small, honest moments. And this video, ideally, I hope, is a trigger for you to take charge of this part of your life. You know, a lot of people just watch those types of videos passively and they say, oh, wow, I feel good. You know, I feel motivated. Great. And then another video and another video. And we keep watching those videos, but we are not making any change because we are not doing, we are not acting. So this is why rather than just watching this, I want you to take a step forward and I want you to take action. And by the way, if this video is resonating so far, if you're getting a ton of value from it, make sure that you subscribe to this channel. I'm dropping those types of videos at least a couple of times every month. I don't post random stuff. I only post useful long-form videos, okay? So to make sure that you don't miss out anything, subscribe, hit that bell notification as well, so you never miss a video, and let's smash life. Let's keep building your confidence. Now, the version of you that the world is waiting for, well, it's already in here. It's already inside of you. It's not about learning confidence. It's about removing the noise. It's about unlearning all the bullshit that we've accumulated over the years. So born the script, speak from the gut, broadcast the truth, not to impress, not to prove something, but because you finally remember who the fuck you are, okay? You are not here on this planet living one life to play small. You are not here to follow some bullshit rules that were imposed on you by someone else. You are here to bend reality, okay? You are here to show up so grounded, so clear, so the whole room just recalibrates when you walk in, right? Confidence is not the end goal, it's the byproduct of truth, action, and identity. Look, you are here to bend reality, to show up so grounded, so clear, so that the entire room recalibrates when you walk in. And you need to remember that confidence is not just a talent, really. It's not something that some people have or some people don't. Confidence is something that you can build over time, but you build it not just by adding more things, but by removing all the bullshit, all the layers that have been imposed on you by the society, by your teachers, your parents, right? By external people. You have to reclaim who the fuck you are. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning in. Post a comment, let me know what is your biggest takeaway, and I'm gonna see you in the next one.